Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We're doing the work and getting the work done. So here we are working on the work. All right. This time, I'm actually going to do the thing I was going to do, the walk. We're going to do the walk. Ooh, now I'm hungry. This time, I'm going to do what I was just talking about before yesterday so that I can remember the process. So, Guy, if you're listening, because this should be the episode you should refer to when you finally go, it's password update day. It's password update day for Brent, but not for us. For us, it's how did you do this stupid thing day. So I'm going to go ahead and real quickly run down all of the steps, mostly for me. But hey, if you're trying to get from Blender to Daz, and you're not building a human, but rather building like a machine, like a car or something like that, here are the steps. So we start with Daz. In Daz, step one is to build the object all as one unit. So make sure that it only has one unit. Don't add other units over here where you've got like a square or a torus or whatever. It all has to be in one model. And that includes things inside. Like, for example, this particular model has its headlights and turn signals inside the model. So things that might move through the model or in, out, and whatever. So, okay. Then each piece you want to make a vertex group. The vertex group is this green triangle, 3-triangle thing. Vertex groups. You select the thing you want it to be, and you hit the vertex group. Right? And this vertex group then allows you to... okay, that's right. It works. Trust me. So name it, and then each section needs to be a vertex group because you need to be in edit mode. If you're in edit mode, you can see we select it, and each section back here then becomes a different vertex group. That's important, right? The turn signal's up front. No, it's not, because that's the one that got borked. It's all right. Doesn't matter. You still get the idea. Right? Each vertex group. And then name it, everything like that. Once you do, and you do all the UV mapping, which is UV mapping, and you can do that all you want, then we export the object. We export as an OBJ, wavefront OBJ, and we name it. And then we need to make sure that over here, selection only, object groups, apply modifiers, write normals, include UVs, write materials, poly groups, and keep vertex order. We don't necessarily need to do the poly groups, but it doesn't hurt. So make sure this is the steps. The other thing you need to set up for Daz is -Z forward needs to be there, but usually that's the default for Daz, so it's not that big of a deal. And then Y up once you export it. Now, the other thing that I don't do, but you may want to do, is make sure it's scaled properly in Blender. I don't need to, because everything's at the same scale, which is not the scale for a human being, because I'm not bringing in Daz maquettes into my car animations. So whatever scale they're all in the same scale with one another, and that's okay. So then you do that and you export it. And then we go over here into Daz, and we say the figure setup tab, which is right here. Or if you don't have it there, we bring it up on the window and the panes, and you'll see it under figure setup, which is this one right here. Okay, the steps here are the ones that are important. We import the geometry, right mouse click, add geometry in this pane. Once we do, you should see all of the vertex groups here. If you don't, we missed a step. You're welcome. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. You should see all the vertex groups. Once you do, it'll say, geometry and then bones. You want to just click and drag geometry to geometry. We've already done it, so we'll do it again. Geometry to geometry, and then it should populate through here.
I am taking your yes.
Yes, keep an eye on its wheels.
Yes.
And just in case. It's probably just whining because of whatever.
Yeah.
That's because Guy keeps forgetting to send it. Because that's a step. And that step's a pain in the butt. Because I got to take it to the post office and do all the post office-ian things. You know what? Guy will make sure that happens right now by putting it on today's Guy list. Looks like Clip's not going to do. Of course, we've sidetracked me from the steps, but that's okay. Mail comics to Brent. They are already set up. All I got to do is take them to the post office. Okay. Then when we're here, the next thing is to make sure before we hit create, which of course, because there was a nice gap right there, you know I've hit create by now. And now I'm going, okay, before you hit create, make sure that they're all in the correct hierarchy over here, because otherwise they're going to start out in the same hierarchy. So for example, in this car, the suspension is the base because we want the car to move on the suspension. So we don't want the suspension to move underneath the car. That'd be weird. So we're going to base it on the suspension. The body is linked to that. Make sure that all the lights and everything are linked to the body and not to the suspension, but the front tires have to be linked to the suspension. Once you do all of that linking, then we can hit create and it makes the character over here. Once it's over here, here is the step that I kept forgetting. Oh, that's cool. That's kick butt. Once we're over here, we're going to go to the node weight map brush. That's this one right here. You click it, and all you have to do once you bring the brush up is select it and then right mouse click on the object that you just created. Hit weight editing, and then we have to say distribute selected bone weights right here. All that does is just make the weight of the bones all equal, because it doesn't really matter in this particular thing. So once we do that, the weights are made, and then we don't have to Donald, I will respond to all of this. I'm trying to record all of this real quickly, just so you know. I will respond to all this. I'm just recording it so I don't forget it, because this has caused me a couple of weeks of pain. So let me finish to the end of this and then we'll talk. Once we've done that, then we go over to the tools and we say the joint editor. That's this one right here. And we edit the joints so that they go the right direction. Once that's done and everything's aligned and everything's tested, then it should work just fine. The only other thing I think we should remember is that the surfaces, you might want to set the angle for on this to about 50 or so. Because then it looks a little bit more flat for rendering. Okay. And that are all the steps right there in 12 minutes. So I only rambled about my grandmother a little bit. Those are all the steps for importing from Blender into DAZ. I've written them all down there, and all is good. Good morning, Bob. Okay, so now Donald. Her daughter's middle name is Bellatrix. That's cool. I actually, that happened to me when I was at the convention. A lady came by and said, I'm going to buy these comics for my the headlights survived. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So I have here the old version of the car, and I'm looking at this because they don't match with look in your hat, or look in the basket at the bottom of the stairs, because you gave it to me, so I put it in the basket by the front door. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. You're welcome. Have a good day. taking my car today so that we can keep the mileage down on her car, which is part of the reason, if you guys are wondering why I'm so evangelistic about electric cars, is because I bought the hype that electric cars were going to set fire to kittens or whatever. So we leased our car, and the car runs great. The car does everything we would ever want from it, and the lease is killing us. And so I'm aggravated because buying into the, oh, we better not buy the car because what if the batteries cost us $47 trillion has instead cost us extra money in the lease because we're going over mileage. So buying the hype cost us money and did not cost us money in the vehicle. The vehicle actually runs really cheap. And Nissan warranties the stupid batteries for 100,000 miles. So even if they do blow up in the next however long, Nissan will replace them for free. So it's even more aggravating. We should have bought the car outright and didn't. And now I'm mad. So, well, now that would have made sense. Now, wouldn't it, Brent? Jeez. Because you're actually right. That would have been ideal. But here's the thing, Brent. I'm mailing it today. Probably afternoon, I would guess. I'm mailing it this afternoon. I'm going to take it to the post office because I need to have them put the little widget sticker on it. I want you to see how many days it takes until you get it and what condition it's in. If it's in bad condition, I'll get you a new copy, so don't worry about that. So yep. So anyway, Donald, back to that. I was saying I was at the convention and I had my comics out, and this lady came by and she said, I'm buying a set of your comics for my niece because she's Asian American, and I've rarely see Asian American female leads. So, and I was like, aw. And she's like, she'll like the fact that she can identify with your captain. And I was like, wasn't what I started with, but I'm glad it worked. You know what I mean? That's not what I was after when I started this. But okay. Yep. Now, here's something interesting. Looking at these two vehicles, oh, I know why. Because you're tilted forward because I put the brakes on. Okay. Now, the question I need to ask myself now is, looking at these two vehicles, do I want... There's one of two options here. Right now, the bone structure of vehicle that's marked A is actually better than the original vehicle, which is to the left there. The bone structure is better built and wisely made and correctly done. Oh, cool. That's fine. You can silence me. So now I'm here looking at this going, the bone structure is actually better, but my poses in my content library, I have these poses set up for it, right? Where it does. So if you look at, let's say, these two cars, right? And you'll notice this one's got hard built headlights and turn signals, so you can't see them if they turn on. But their build is set up such. But right now, all of these poses are designed to make the car do the things, right? So that it actually can do all the things. And if you use those poses here, we get them backwards. Oh, that's bad. That's all right. So I'm actually thinking, if I make new poses for this, right? If I make new poses for this guy here, On this version, I'm going to have to redo these poses. So what I think I might do is this. And then I'll make a new like that. And then we'll just make a new set. Because there's a couple of other things, like when you hit the brakes, we want now the brake lights to come on, right? Because I mean, like, they're not on now. So we want the brake lights to come on. So first, though, let's finish our rigging. Because I think actually I'm going to go with that. Let's finish our rigging. So once we've done all the rigging on this suspension, the suspension, we don't need it to twist like this. We do need it to twist. This is not what we're looking for. The suspension has the connection to the front tire. The front tire, we want to be able to do this. And it's 30 degrees up and 30 degrees back. So we'll say turn, right? We'll accept that. And now it can only turn this much, right? It'll be funny. I could do that. And then that way they're hidden. And the translation should also be all hidden. Right? And the scale definitely hidden. This just keeps us from doing something horrible to the car while we're here. Because if I take it out of edit mode and then say I'm going to turn it into edit mode and then say it's up here. We can unshow the hidden properties, and when we do, you'll notice that all that's now here is the turn function. There's no more other functions. There's no other functions we can see. So the body itself doesn't need that. So we'll hide this. And this is why we do these things, because if we hide them, what about the side to side? Yep, we do need that one. And we're going to need bend, right? Because that's this. Which makes them the funny parameter settings. We'll call this one lean left, right. And we'll say limits of this one are only probably 30 degrees. Right. No, that's still too much. We only need it to really be able to lean about 9 degrees. So we'll set it for 9, minus 9 to plus 9. And that's pretty dramatically. Right. There we go. Humorous and funny. Right. And then the same thing we'll do for front back, because of the lean forward. At some point here, it has to be like, let's do a 6 and see what that looks like. And we could probably do 7. Yeah, so 7 forward is all we're going to get. And we can go quite a ways backward. We'll go 7 and 7 though, to make it easy. Wipers be sexy eyelashes. You know what? This thing doesn't have a windshield. I mean, I haven't really dealt with the fact that it. And then this doesn't need to be in here. So we can hide this guy. And this guy. And all of the scales, because we really do not want anybody accidentally scaling this thing. Right? You don't want to scale the vehicle. However, we are missing one function that it does need. So let's go on ahead and show the hidden properties one more time, because what we do need is this one, because it needs to be able to bounce, right? So we're going to unhide this one. There we go. And we will call it George. No, George is in the other room. Bounce. We won't let it go very far though. Just up and down a couple of, maybe 10 up and 10 down. Right? So this should give us up to there and down to there. That's a good guess. Yep, that's true. I like what they did in Germany. In Germany, when the snow started coming, they would put the wipers straight up like that. And I see European people who came over from Europe doing that. It's an interesting thought process. I don't know what they do in, with hydraulics. I don't know what they do in Japan, because I never lived in a snow area. The only snow we ever got in our area was light dusting, and it completely flipped them out because, it was Tokyo proper. So my watch back on so don't forget it. All right, low rider with hydraulics. Low rider. Alrighty. Turn signal's already set and rigged to do its job, so we just need to go and hide everything else. Nothing else works on this. We don't want it turning or twisting or bending or scaling. Same thing for the other turn signal. It's kind of tedious, but once this is done, it makes this so much easier to deal with. Ah. Okay, same thing here. We're going to make sure that everybody is hidden. All right. All hidden. Perfect. Right front tire only has turn. Left front tire isn't set yet. All right. No, it's not twist. No, it's not bend. That's a bad day. There we go. That's it. Solar wipers. It could happen. I'm just saying. So select you, and you, and you. And say, hide all you people. Hide. There we go. Now that's selected properly. Let's make sure the suspension is correct, because the suspension can turn and go anywhere, but it does not get to scale. Because the suspension is actually the vehicle. For better or for worse, we have to remember to drive on the suspension. So I actually will probably change its name to click here to drive car. That way I don't forget. Okay, preferences. Show hidden properties turns that off. Okay. There we go. And I think, nope. We got one more. Which one works? This one. So call this turn steering wheel. And we'll let it go. Yeah, 180 to 180 is fine by me. And then we'll you, and you. We'll hide the whole lot of you guys. Headlights only need on and off. Okay. Is this correct? Nope. Okay. Then I'm worried and confused. Show hidden properties. Why is that even a thing? You need to be unhidden. And this is why we check everything. And then you need to be hidden for reasons. All right. That was weird. Okay. Right brake light, left brake light, turn signal, right turn signal, headlights, steering wheel. Body can bounce, accelerate, and lean. Right front, left front. And this guy can move anywhere. It's the queen. Next up, drifting. Okay. And the car. The things we do not want is scales on this. Well, no, actually, we should be able to scale the car, but I'll just have to be very, very careful with that, because we don't know whether. So, yeah, so I made the car bounce, and everybody thought it was funny and lovely and everything like that. And the lead instructor said, "This is wonderful. This is great. But if my kids actually bounce like that at a stop, I'd have to fail them on the test. So let's not make the hero car do that." And I was like, fair. So, oh man. So we can't make the hero car drift or bounce. Everybody else can drift and bounce and sproing all over the place, and it's funny and it's cute and nobody has a problem. But the hero car can't. 'Tis the rules. So, all right. I think we are properly rigged. Right. Well, that's the thing. That's what he was saying. If you slam the brakes like that, then you'd fail the driving test. And so the whole thing was we shouldn't let the hero car do that, because we want to show that the hero car driver is driving very calm, the way you're supposed to drive in the test. So that makes sense. So that's how we're going to do it. Okay. Now that we've done this, we're going to make sure he's centered on the plane, because we want always, when we bring a new car into the scene, I want to make sure that the new car is aligned properly. And we're going to call this the new drive safe car. We're going to call this car R instead of car 1B. And we're going to replace this old car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and rename him as original car A. We're going to rename this one as master car. And the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to then take this guy, which we just created, and we're going to save as we did yesterday. And here's the other thing, Guy, for those of you who are Guy, remember when you save it, you have to save it as a character preset. Yes. You save everything like that. And the only other thing you need to remember is to select the main body of the vehicle. So, yep. So, by the way, this is another one of those things that I bring up in class a lot. We have potholes in Colorado because actually the temperature gradient between our heat and our cold here is so great that they actually spend a lot of money on our roads. Yep. I like blonkers. That's good. But yes, they now have blinkers. See? Wait. Get out of edit mode. See? So this is the master. This is the one we'll work with. So now what we'll do is we put in here, we put a generic person. And the generic person has to be set inside the body, like that, so that he moves with the vehicle, so that whenever we bounce the vehicle, the person bounces too. But the thing that's difficult about generic person is that his hands have to be on the steering wheel. So the next thing we do, he's doing the don't shoot me. Right, but the hands are designed to go. Nope, that's not the hand. Oh, that's weird. Guess who's rigged wrong? Why are you rigged wrong? You shouldn't be rigged wrong at all. Weird. Okay. I'll bet you the other hand is screwed up too. Let's double check that. The rigging is weird. I am teaching arm signals. We teach those too. However, in general, we only needed the hands to indicate where things were, because that way I don't have to actually. There we go. Now, weird. In general, right now, what we're doing. So actually, that's one of the jokes I tell. As I say, remember, guys, wave with all 5 fingers. Hey, Jerry. The thing I do a lot. Wave with all 5 fingers. And they laugh and they think it's funny and stuff. So, actually, what happens is I tell them that in class 1, and 9 times out of 10, they're just staring at me horrified because they don't know what to think about these things, which is kind of sad, but kind of the way it is, because it's class 1 and they're still confused and they don't know what to do. So, I usually like to tell that one, because by the time that hits, they start to realize, oh, okay, he's not a bad teacher. He's going to be fine. Probably should redo this guy someday, because he's a little rougher than I want him to be. But that's okay. Now we need to make sure that the hand is tied to the steering wheel. So what we do is we take the hand. No, take the hand. How did I do this before? You're right. Watching a video about driving. Yeah. Well, okay. So, Jerry, there's a reason for that. We have an auto trigger on our recounts. When they're at a certain threshold, we automatically recount. So Colorado is just following procedure. I don't know what will happen if they find out that Bobart didn't win. I don't know what will happen, but I don't think that's ever really, honestly, despite what we've been hearing on the news and things like that, the truth is our voting system is actually pretty good. And so rarely do you find that it has made an error of some sort. It's a very rare thing. It does happen, but it doesn't happen as often as the news seems to think. They kind of like to blow it out of proportion. But the system is set up so that in case of something like this, it automatically triggers a recount so that the system will fit it in. So that's what's going on. I don't know. Like I said, I have no earthly idea if they find out that Bobart didn't win. However, I doubt that that's going to be something that they will have a problem with. So, okay. None of these are working like they're supposed to. I'm going to maybe have to rebuild the dude, but I can't remember how I made it work before. Right? Because, like, car 1 comes in with a person, right? So how do I have him rigged? Oh, that's because I didn't have it. The bones weren't set up right. Yeah, but still. Set up to this. Oh, yeah. If it bleeds, it leads. That's been a thing. The problem that we've got is that people are okay with bleeding and leading on their newspapers and the TV because we've gotten acclimated on over that over the last, say, 100 years or so. But we aren't used to being bombarded in our social media, and nobody is, or people are just now realizing and learning that the social media caters the news, curates the news. And it doesn't curate it intentionally. It curates it because it wants you, if you like Coca-Cola, it wants you to buy more Coca-Cola. It's set up for that. However, the accidental side effect is if you like Republican, you get more Republican. If you like Democrat, you get more Democrat because it's set up that way. Because the idea was that you'd buy more Nike shoes. That was the original construction. That was its build. So now it just bombards us, and the more we engage in it, the worse it gets. And I have actually been playing games with my algorithm on Facebook, and it's been entertainment. I finally got my algorithm on Facebook settled back down to just show me Star Trek stuff, but it took a long time. I had to detox my algorithm, and I finally got it back to just Star Trek stuff. And then somebody did a Kickstarter on a fleshlight, and I'm like, that can't possibly be oh, it is. And now, of course, I've got Viagra ads because, boy, I'll tell you, the algorithm jumped on that one, and I was like, really? So now I'm stuck with stupid fleshlight ads, and I'm bitter about that. So, because I just got it squared away. I totally did. And I'm so mad about this. I cannot tell you. Anyway. You totally did, Colton. Good morning. Yeah, no, I was just saying I just got my entire algorithm, and then somebody's doing a Kickstarter for a fleshlight thing. And I was like, that can't possibly be that. So I clicked on it. It was that. And now my algorithm is all like, oh, you have erectile dysfunction? Oh, you have. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. How did you get here? So now I'm being inundated and I'm having to retrain it. And I'm just amazed at how fast the algorithm jumped on that. They're designed to feed us. Like I said, the whole original design of these algorithms was if you like Coca-Cola, then it's going to ask you if you want to drink Dr. Pepper too. You know what I mean? That's the entire point. If you like Coca-Cola, it will go through Dr. Pepper. It'll ask you if you, maybe because people like Coca-Cola, most people who like Coca-Cola also like hamburgers. So you'll get advertisements for McDonald's. Most people, you know what I mean? That's the original design of the algorithm. That's what it's supposed to be. What it's turned out is that if you engage in something that's slightly left-leaning, it will offer you other left-leaning things and then offer you more extreme left-leaning things too. Then you click on the extreme left-leanings, and that moves the algorithm down the slide. Now it'll give you the slightly more extreme left-leanings and a little bit further down the left-leanings. After about a year or so, anybody who engages in any politics at all on the internet is going to be at the far edges of the spectrum because they will have been boiled like a frog boil. So it'll boil you a little bit at a time until finally you're arguing about whether the earth is flat or not. Because the people who believe these really ridiculous, outlandish things didn't just wake up one morning thinking that they were going to believe these really ridiculous, outlandish things. They started with, now why isn't this moving? I need to get these bones moved around, and I can't get the bones to move. Hey, Colton, when's your thing tomorrow? What time? Okay. So, Donald, it doesn't. I actually have learned about that one too. The phones do not listen to you. They actually, as somebody, I talked to a programmer and he's like, the programming involved to have the phones actually parse the language, pull out all the other noise in the room with you, and then transmit that information is actually extremely processor intensive. So your phones would be overheating all the time. He said, you'd know because your phones would be super hot all the time. All of our phones would be, because it takes a lot of processor power. So instead, it's even more nefarious than that. What happens is the phones are asking each other who they're near. And what happens is you'll get near, let's say I'm walking along and my phone is close to Colton's phone for more than, say, a minute. At which time then the advertisers will then immediately start cross-transmitting back and forth information from Colton's phone to my phone and my phone to Colton's phone. They'll find common interests and then fire them back and forth, because that's the way we humans work about it. That's how we do these things. So, yeah. And so probably what happened, Donald, is you talked to your buddy about a tub and he looked it up on his phone. Since you didn't look it up on your phone, you didn't notice it. It doesn't cross your mind that you actually looked at your phone. But since he did and your phones were close together, it will swoop that back to you. And that's actually what happens. I've tested it. It's absolutely true. What will happen is we will talk about something in the room, and then I will have my wife look it up, and it will immediately show up in my Facebook feed. So that's how it works. And we'll talk about things that are, we've even tested doing the write it down on a piece of paper and slide it across the table. So we'll talk about cars and I'll slide the word airplanes across the table to her and she'll type in airplanes and airplanes will come up in my feed. So it's not actually pulling words. It's the fact that she looked on her phone to something that we were talking about. So it's brutal. Worse, we gave them permission. That's the part that gives me the, I hate that. Pre-order. I need to move you. Why can't I move you? Why are we selecting and not moving? Because you're a character now. Yep, good old technology. I think the answer I finally came up with was to bring in the model by itself and attach the model by itself. I think that was the answer I came up with. Crap. Okay. Well, we figured it out. We figured out the problem we've got is that we're just going to have to hard code this, and I don't want to hard code it. It's fine. What we're having a problem with right now, if you're wondering, guys, is the hands are connected to the steering, or not connected to the steering wheel. So if I turn the steering wheel right now, the hands don't move with it. And that's part of the problem. I need to get the hands to move with the steering wheel. But the hands are connected to the person, not to the steering wheel. And I know there's a way to make these things work in sync, but it's really difficult and complicated. And I think the solution that I came up with before was to simply import a new set of hands that are just by themselves and glue them to the steering wheel and then hide the person's hands. And then we'll do a swap. Yep. We don't need to worry about the arms moving. So it's one of those things that I mean, like I said, talk to programmers. They said the phones could listen to us, but it takes a lot for, I mean, if you think about just how much effort it takes for me to dictate to this machine and tell it and have it write something in Microsoft Word and just have it dictate. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of processing power. As soon as I start doing that, this machine, which is markedly more powerful than my phone, this machine starts to turn on all of its auxiliary fans. So it's starting to crunch, right? It's not using the GPU, but it is using the CPU on it. And so it is starting to crunch numbers. So I'm pretty sure that the programmer I was talking to was pretty accurate on this one and did have like the correct thing going for him. So well, let's see if that works. Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, the number of times that my Alexa freaks out about stupid stuff, it's not perfect. And I'm not saying that it won't happen. I think it will. I think it's only a matter of time before it really does listen. Um, oh. Well, what if it won't let me? Select the bones of the arm, starting at the top and ending with a hand. Then create new. Okay, so we go into the bone editor. That's part of the problem. Join editor. Eh? Select the bones of the arm. Maybe it's the bone editor. Maybe there isn't a bone. Come on, guys, throw me a bone. Enable IK. IK is enabled. Do I not have bones in here? And is that the problem? Right? The bone editor. Sounds like an upcoming horror movie, definitely. Ugh. Okay. We do have joint editors. New IK chain. Accept. Then we take that and we move it to the steering wheel. All right, that's how we do it. Create new IK chain. Accept. We take that, We tie it to the steering wheel. And the steering wheel doesn't work. That's funny. That's probably because I have the wrong one, though. It should be you. Create new keychain. Accept. Uh-oh. Whoa. 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 We're close. Starting to make me think this isn't working like I want it to. Okay, fine. I'm back to what I was thinking before. It's not here long enough to really worry about it. And so I'm not as we'll bring him out if we need to signal anybody. That's what we'll do. Because this would have taken far less time for me to kludge it. The problem is, I'm here doing all of this because I had to kludge the stupid thing. Right? And the first time I was like, hey, it'll take less time for me to kludge it. And now I'm here doing this and going, well, I mean, was that the smartest move? Was it really? Yeah. There. I'll move them into place. Oh yeah, it's important for me to be turned 180 degrees out. Going the wrong way. That's right. Situational awareness, guy. Yeah, I need situational awareness when you're in these things here. Colton, if you want to join me, you are welcome to. I mean, I'm assuming that the reason I have not seen you is because you have things to do or you cannot make it. Either way, I do want you to know that you are welcome. Certainly. As you might imagine. All right, let's quickly No, don't do that. He's like driving like this. All right. We're just placing this on here. I'm just giving him his, just giving him a hand. We're going to give him a hand here. Got to hand it to this guy. He knows how to drive. All right. Yeah. The only thing we need to do now is take these hands and tie them to the steering wheel. So we'll do this and this, and they're tied to the steering wheel. And then that way, when the steering wheel turns, you'll notice the hands turn too. It's a kludge because the hands aren't actually connected to our dude anymore, but it works. And take this and this, go here and here, and surfaces here and here. And hey, Colton, joining me. You joining me, Colton?
Oh,
Hello.
how are you?
Okay. I am generic personing.
Let's see.
Sounds like a thing.
Uh,
Well, you know. There we go. And the ambient color needs to be.
There we go. All right. Hey, Donald.
So how you doing? It's been a while since you've been on the show. Your new spot.
It's because I moved.
Well,
I'm still.
honestly, you're a human being. If you stop moving, tell me. 'Cause we'll
That's
bury
fair.
you.
That's
You know.
fair.
It's a thing. Just saying. What I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out, but yeah.
Yep. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to your thing, though.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
That's fine.
I would like to. However, that's in the middle of our game, and D&D is, more important than you. I'm just saying.
I mean, D&D has been around much longer than me, so I
It
totally.
has. I'm just saying. No offense to you or anything. I love you to the end of the earth. You know it. But I love D&D more, and there's the thing.
That's fine. I totally get it. It was not an op. It was not a. I'm not forcing you.
Hey, check this out, though. Now that we've done this, I can now turn my headlights on and turn my headlights off.
Nice.
And you can turn the turn signals on. So
Nice.
because they were like, we need turn signals. And the brake lights come on now. It's cool. And they do like
Ooh, fancy. I like that.
Right? I set them up so that they do like the Mustangs do. I think the Mustangs are cool. Probably the only Ford I'll like, but that's okay. It's the only Ford I even remotely like. So there you go. That's my new modified newer car. I had to go through the entire rigmarole over the last couple of days because it was such a brutal problem child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You get a problem child?
Yeah, so I showed my animations to the team, And they were
Okay.
like, we like the arrows and everything showing where things should go, but we think they should turn their turn signals on.
Fair.
And I was like, so it was like, well, yes and no.
Probably. It's fine. I understand, man.
It's the longest running game I've been in a long time. So actually,
No, I get it.
I love you guys
totally
dearly.
get it.
And I would love to do it. If it was earlier in the day, I'd be able to do it, but our game literally starts at 7. So
Well,
it's like,
if two of
I
us
can-
didn't work till like 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, it would have been probably earlier, but
yeah, that's fair.
or at least we would have started earlier and just had people casually coming throughout the day.
Yep.
But yeah, it is what it is.
It is
I'm
what
like,
it is.
all right.
It's all good. Which is a bummer because Jerry's going to be there. And I was like, so as soon as Jerry said he was going to show up, I was like, crap, I should go.
Now I kind of
I
want
would love to see. I'd love to hang out with Jerry. You know, and I was like, oh man. But then I was talking to my wife, and as I was walking this morning with 2 of the players in the game, they were so jazzed about tomorrow night's game. I'm like, I can't bow out of it. If I do, my character will end up in the background on this big fight we're about to get into, and I'm like, I don't know if I want my
Guy's character don't want to be an NPC.
Right? I don't want my character to be an NPC. Sounds horrible.
I
Okay,
don't want to be a background character.
right? Right?
That's awesome. Yeah, I finally get to meet
Donald,
Jerry face to face.
D&D is awesome now because of D&D Beyond and stuff like that. Now they've, or not D&D Beyond, but Roll20.net, which allows you to play D&D online. So what people are doing now is they're getting onto Discord servers and they're joining D&D groups, and they just need to be able to access D&D Roll20 on Roll20.net and then Discord, and they've been joining the games. That's not what ours is, because ours is the IRL game that's been going since 2012. So it's a 10-year-old game now. So the technology wasn't there when we started this one. So, but that's all right. Yeah, it's kind of funny that you know Colton too, since you met us in a completely different way. He met us in the guise of Geek Tank, as opposed to meeting us as artists. So, like, I'm sure that was sort of.
I met a lot of the guys in Geek Tank, so yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, but that's a different. I run in different circles when I'm when I'm doing Geek Tank than I do when I'm. It was kind of like I was talking last night to Bob, and I was talking about my friend. I just lost his name, Dave Boob, whom I've known for a billion years, and he's an author. And so I was talking as if Bob knew him. And
Like
Bob's like,
Bob?
I don't know who this is. And I'm like, oh. I'm so used to all of my circles crossing like a Venn diagram.
Somewhere they cross, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's weird when they don't cross. I'm like, I didn't realize that. I didn't think about that, I guess. Huh. You know, it's kind of like,
Right.
Oh. I'm going to save you because you're correct now. And I'm going to see if we can open. That's what I was afraid of. So, anyway. New.
Oh, okay. I was like, which Bob? Because I know we know of quite a few Bobs.
Oh, not that Bob.
Right.
Oi Bob.
I figured as much. I just wanted to clarify.
I was hanging out with Oi Bob last night, so. For better or worse.
Hope he's doing well.
There's nothing wrong with Bob. I'm just being weird. I absolutely adore Bob. He's cool.
I met up with
Okay.
Raph.
You met up with who?
Raph.
Oh, Raph. Yeah. You ran into Raph?
Last week? It was a week. I've been here for what?
Well, you're down in his part of the town now, aren't you?
Yeah, he's literally right around the street from me.
Yeah. That makes it a lot easier. He's on the other frickin' side of town now for me. He used to be up here. His ongoing commentary, though, was, you weren't up here. You didn't visit with me whenever I was up there. I'm like, I don't visit with anybody when I mean, that sounds like a rap comment. Not indicative of something. You know? It's like, that doesn't mean anything.
That definitely sounds like a rap comment.
All right.
Man, I met with him and we talked about Bob for a bit. Love the guy.
Either you or me are having transmission issues.
Huh?
Either you or I are having transmission issues.
Oh, my coming in choppy.
Edit mode.
Am I coming in choppy?
Yeah, you're getting all choppy.
Oh. I have not tried streaming on this computer.
Maybe me as well. Who knows? Anything could happen. Okay. So, cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, how's it going?
Not bad.
That's cool.
Finally,
you settling into new digs?
Yeah. I think we're finally situated. So
cool.
I think we'll be good. I just got to pay one more rent for my last place, but they said they're going to wait on that one until we.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yeah, they said we'll let you guys know more close to after the 30th because they need to go through everything. Because
makes sense.
The other roommate that decided just to up and bail without any notice, like they knew I was like potentially moving. Like that was the good part. We actually had this conversation finally. And like, no, we knew you were going to be leaving at any moment. We were just waiting for an exact date. And then our other friend came through, my other roommate, just as soon as I told them, I was like, all right, cool, here's this. Here's month's rent for this month. Like, this is what's happening. Like, okay, no, that's cool. He comes in, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm moving too. Goodbye. And I was like, oh. Like, and I felt bad. I was like, I am so sorry that you're losing all your roommates.
Right.
You're losing all that income right there. In 1 month, like, but it's also he never explained anything to anybody, and we think he lost his job.
Oh,
and he's moving in with his girlfriend, but all he had.
That's just so he just vanished all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's just not vanishing
because
like,
he lost his job, so he didn't want to say anything or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of where we were. We're like, all you had to do was just talk to us, man. But he didn't know,
right?
So that's what it is.
Bob's talking about seeing Tim and Destin. Like, yes, I live in that group too. So it's all of these Venn diagrams, like all these. Well, what it boils down to is there are. What I've decided is, or what I've discovered in my time, the extroverts are like the connection vertices in a grid. Right? Because like we'll know all these people in different groups. And then the people in the groups don't really know other groups that well unless they go through the extroverts, because the extroverts are the ones that'll go to a party and just talk to everybody and, you know, make friends with all of them. And then they're all connected. And then the introverts are kind of like hanging out in their little group over in the corner. And that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying introverts are bad, but I'm noticing that that's what happens is like, I was talking about that about Berto, because Berto is another one of those people who just knows everybody and he's talked to everybody. And I'm routinely shocked that, I will talk to a buddy of mine, like I was talking to Becca Feiner, who used to be the con chair for NDK. So I know her through NDK. Makes total sense. In my head, she's part of the NDK group. Well, Berto knows her too. And like they've talked to each other. And so it's really weird for me because I've got Berto's from Red Team Go. And then Becca's from NDK. And I'm like, those two don't mesh in my head. I'm like, this isn't right.
Berto's big with a lot of writers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he probably knows
that one. He just knew a lot of writers.
I wouldn't be surprised if he knows Dave Boop and they hang. Probably not. Dave, as much as I love him, he's got a slightly acerbic personality and tends to, sadly, put people off. I don't think that was his intention, but I think he's slightly spectrumy and he tends to do the pick the wrong words game.
Oh, kind of like Ross. Ross does that.
Ross, yeah, Ross is actually. I was just saying that last night with Ross. I was like, Ross, I totally understand because I do the same kind of things sometimes,
Mm-hmm. That one I knew because Bob actually told me when I lived with him about Ross, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, okay, what's Ross's deal? He's like, he's spectrum. I'm like, oh. Cool. Now I know how to deal with him. Thank you. Like I can talk to him in a way where I don't feel like I'm going to be rude.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't pick it up.
Yeah, you need a very blunt,
which is totally cool.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes the answers are right, and sometimes you're like, what?
Pretty much.
But also, Ross is seeing things on a completely different level.
Oh yeah.
Spectrum people do because they're thinking differently. Not bad, just different. I actually had a moment last night with my kid for that very reason. I said something and he goes, that was 2 puzzle pieces that only had the indent in them. And I was like, oh my God, I totally know what you're talking about. And he managed to, in his pseudo-spectrumy way, convey a point that I understood. But my wife was like, I don't get it. What are you guys saying? And I'm like, you don't understand, but I get it. I know exactly what he's talking about.
I know where this conversation's about to go.
Right? And I was like, I get that. And I was like, that's cool, dude. All right. Now what I've done is with the signal, we have a red light, a yellow light, and a green light. In normal mode, you don't see them. They press through. But now that I've remembered how to do this process, we're going to fix the street lights because otherwise this is going to take us freaking forever. I have to stop and think real quick here. I'm trying to think about how I want. Boy, I'm washed out. I am so washed out. It's cool.
You're washed out. Oh,
I'm washed out.
In your picture.
Yeah, I'm like all white. I'm just this white blob.
That's why my back's glowing.
So yeah, I'm just finding that funny.
No, that's great. That's awesome though that you actually like you know it, you know when you see it, kind of thing. You know, with your son. Like I knew it.
Oddly, have you ever played the game Dixit?
Did I what?
Dixit. Have you ever played Dixit? Dixit.
What is that?
It's a board game. Apples to Apples functionality. So it runs like apples to apples. You know, you have one person puts
I've
down
seen
a
it.
card.
I've never played it.
Yeah. The Dixit cards are how things show up in my brain.
Mm.
And that's one of the reasons why I sometimes don't make sense to people. And it's because I see the images like those Dixit cards, which
No
are
words.
abstract, but have like, and I've recently realized this is exactly how I see things in my head when I
Mhm.
see patterns, or I'll see things that work together, or I'll see how people function together. But they come to my brain with Dixit cards, which means that it's hard for me to just say the words, because then I end up saying it's like a girl on the beach surrounded by fireflies and music is flowing up on the instead of water. You know what I mean? Like, then people are like, the hell does that mean? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know what that means. That doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, I understand. That's why I'm having a hard time getting there. And I said, if you will let me work
It will
this
make
through,
sense. Just you gotta let
it
me
will
get
make
to
sense once I get to this point. The problem is that's the image that I've got in my head that explains everything. And in my head, it makes total sense. All of that makes total sense. You know?
Right.
And that's part of that's why. Once I realized that that was the case, and I learned it by watching my kid, because I watched him go through his brain being assembled piece by piece. And it's actually helped him. I think it's helped him immensely, because I've been able to say, look, you're operating like this, but the world is not going to understand it. So make a translation program to translate to this, so that
There you go.
it's not you're wrong, you're not broken, you're not screwed up. We just need to make a little translation program so that you can communicate effectively to everyone else your ideas.
Right.
And I even said to him, I said, if you tell people that you're just having a communication problem, give you a moment, most people in the world will be like, oh, cool, no problem.
Let me sit back.
And they'll end up doing. I'm sorry?
It's usually if you say that, most people are like, oh, cool. I can sit here and wait.
Yeah, totally. It's like Amanda with the convention. She gets a great benefit of the fact that I do not see inside a box, right? I can't even comprehend it.
Oh, yeah, because you've seen a different view.
She likes that benefit. She's a very in the box person. You know, she's very structured. She's very orderly. And so she likes that I will see connections that she hasn't seen, because I don't live inside a box. I can't even comprehend living in boxes. So she likes that. So what she does is she utilizes that skill from me. That's the skill set she likes to use from me. She will give me, here are the problems with the convention, and then wait 10 minutes to see what kind of images I come up with. and then she has to wait 30 minutes for me to talk it out. And then once she does, she's like, that's a great idea. We will do that. And she implements things. And I love that, because I feel like a very useful engine. You know what I mean? Like, all of my life, it's been, we don't understand what Guy's saying, so he's probably not saying anything important.
Right.
And so it's really nice when somebody's like, nope. I now know what you're trying to say, or at least I know you're trying to say something important that I would find useful. So I'm going to let you.
And you're trying to process it. So we're going to give you a minute to figure it out.
So she'll just sit there and patiently talk me through it. She's so sweet. It's so nice.
That's good.
Because I'm like, thanks for being so patient with me. So
Well,
few people
like
with me in my life.
We had a guy
So
that was I work with, or used to work with. He's at my old station. But he's autistic.
Yep.
And I knew something was there, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I finally just went up to my boss. I'm like, dude, I need you to tell me something about this guy. Like, is there something there? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, do you know anything? I'm like, this is not nothing. I'm not mad. I'm not gonna get him in trouble. Anything. I need to know so I know how to work with him. He's just like, what are you talking about? And I explained it to him. He's like, oh yeah. And then he's like, no, I think he's just weird. It's fine. And our friend walks by actually goes to church with him. He's like, yeah, he's autistic. And I was like, oh, thank you. And after that, we became great friends. He's a really cool guy.
Right?
He's obsessed with Europe. And we'll talk your ear off about Europe all the time.
And
They
that's
love
just what he's obsessed with today.
Yeah.
Wait until next year. Then he'll be obsessed
Mhm.
with something else.
It makes it
That's the
so much
thing.
easier because then I can actually sit there and be like, this is what we need to do. And he's just like you'll see the gears turning and he'll start talking. And I'm like, all right, you're going to get there. I just want to stand here and wait until you actually understand it, though.
Yes, because that's what we need.
But like, yeah,
Really,
just after
all we
learning
need. We
that,
just
like
need
me and my
to-
boss, like, as soon as we found that out, like, he worked out great. He was an amazing employee, amazing kid.
Yeah.
But you actually had to learn to work with him. And I was like, I'm glad you finally told me that. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the
That was the same
thing.
with Bob
It's
when he
like
told me
I
that
said,
about Ross. I was like, oh, okay. This explains a lot of things.
As soon as I met Ross, though, I was like, "Yep, I know your spectrum."
Yeah.
It was like, got it. We're good. But I'm spectrum too. I'm not autistic. I'm ADD, which is spectrum light, or is autistic light.
Is it?
We still have the same issues and communication problems.
Mhm.
We just don't have. We're easier. We situate easier to the world.
Right.
We align better, and that's all. There. Okay, now I have made the light. And give it a little hook so that it actually kind of like hangs from the lamp post correctly and everything. And actually, maybe I want to put. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, being a spectrum person, raising a spectrum child, is actually very useful because my wife is not spectrum, and so she'll be like, "I don't understand," because my kid will wander through the house talking to himself,
Mhm.
and he just mumbles to himself, and my wife's like, "Should we be worried about that?" And I said, "Oh no. All of us spectrum people talk to ourselves, and mostly it's because there's so much noise in our heads. The only way we can process stuff is to talk it out loud, because it's the only way to get a stream of information out and back in loop. So we can't. Otherwise, it's just a jumbled mess of static in our head, and we'll never get a thought through. I said, so there's nothing wrong with him. He's fine. He's just working some problem through that he started with earlier today. Hey, Brent. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah, see, nothing wrong with it. It's totally fine.
I'm not gonna go Mike Myers on you. You're fine.
But you could see it if we start, like, sometimes the connection line in me breaks. Of course, when I was a kid, my mom locked me down and said, look, dude, people are going to think you're insane. Stop doing that.
Or find a way to do it without.
And so I wait until everybody leaves and talk to myself and talk out my problems. And so I've been loving the fact that I live by myself during the day. You know, everybody goes to school and everything like that. And I can just sit here and mumble to myself all day long while I make breakfast and while I make lunch and while I draw and while I watch things. And I've noticed that if my family, like over the break, like over summer break especially, everybody is here all the time. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll end up driving on, I'll be driving down the road and all of a sudden I'll just go, Yeah, and that's why we have to do it that way. Because if we do it the other, and then I stop and I realize everybody's staring at me, and I'm like, crap, that was in my outside voice, wasn't it? I feel like
That was my outside
I swear,
voice.
I'm always like the Max. It's like switched to outside voice all of a sudden.
That's awesome.
So this is really useful to not have anybody here. I'll get off the stream and then I can just talk through things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, the things that I have problems with are like, you know, I'm mad at Colton for X, Y, or Z, whatever's the story. And so, but I'm not sure that it's Colton's fault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mumble to myself and have
Until I figure out if it is
an imaginary discussion with Colton about how mad I am with him. And then at the end of the imaginary discussion, I'll realize, no, Colton's right and I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it really is useful for.
right.
Hyperkinetic. Wow, that's a thing. That's cool.
What?
Not cool. See, there's another one of those.
Hyperkinetic?
Hyperkinetic.
Hyperkinetic.
It's like hyperactive.
Oh, okay.
Except that he throws himself at people. No.
That's what I thought. I was like, do you like
Throw yourself at people?
bounce off of things? I don't know.
Yeah. That's the HD part of ADHD.
Right.
I'm ADD. I'm not ADHD. My kid's ADHD. So, but I had the movement part when I was a child. Like, and I still will today. If I'm not watching it, I'll move my leg will start doing the thing.
The twitch.
Although my therapist has been talking about the fact that that's probably closer to stimming. And I never really thought of it because, of course, like I said, growing up as an 80s kid, all of that was troublesome and disturbing to people. And so they wanted me to stop it. So now I'm, you know, I've got wires crossed is what's really happening. Which sucks, but we'll get there. And hyperkinetic is effectively the HD in ADHD.
The new, yeah. That's right.
So I think it's fascinating that there's some yeah. Oh, yeah, Bob. I mean, honestly, if you're Spectrum-y, there are a lot of things that you'll discover that all of us Spectrum people have. And what they're discovering is that it's not, you know, if you have these 2 traits, you're autistic. If you have these 3 traits, you're ADD. Instead, there's like 12 or 13 dysfunctional traits. And some people have more here and less there. But like they're finding that all of us seem to have some bits of it. Yeah. So like, for example, I have the texture problems and the pickiness, the food pickiness, and textures are wrong and they'll make me ill and things like that. I cannot eat clams at all. The texture is wrong. It's just so wrong. But I think a lot of people do that. But there are other textures that are not right. Like I don't like anything soft with something hard in it. Like Kung Pao chicken has peanuts in it. I love peanuts and I love Kung Pao chicken. But you cannot put those two together because then you have soft and hard mixed. And that messes with my entire world and I can't comprehend it and I can't deal with it. It's something, but that is spectrum-y. That's a spectrum problem. Because you can understand people who do not like peanuts, but I love peanuts. They just have to be by themselves. You know, it's like it's one of those weird things. It's like absolutely adore peanuts, but they've got to be by themselves. They cannot. I can't have a peanut inside something. That freaks me out. This morning I made burritos, and I think I over-nuked the burrito meat, and the burrito meat became crunchy. And I'm like, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this at all. It's just really weird. So, yeah, I have whole life. Well, I've had whole life stories. I think Yeah, Bob, we're not broken. And that's actually literally what I've been trying to express to my child is there's nothing wrong with us. We just don't interface properly with the statistical norm. And so you need to make interface programs. That's all. You just need to make sure you have a program running. It's like my favorite story about this is Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is autistic. And what he did was when he was a kid, he wasn't interfacing properly with people and he knew something was wrong. And so his thing was to hyper focus on how people act and behave, and then he would mirror them. So when he was with them, he would behave like them.
Yeah.
And that was his answer. Now he is a phenomenal actor because all he does is behave like Joe Smith or behave like, Tom Jones, and he just can immediately switch because that was his defense mechanism as a child. Right. Well, and that's the thing. But Bob, I'll bet you anything that there is something out there that you can't deal with, but not because of the taste, but because of texture or pattern or something. I'll bet you've got one or two of those where it's like, I don't mind the taste of pudding, but I can't deal with the sliminess of pudding or whatever. Which I do like. But I'm just saying, I've met people who right. I find that fascinating to me. I find all of this fascinating. The way we survive. I'm going to add, we're just adding links of a chain. And yeah, it is in fact very important. You are right, Bob. It's very important that we do not call ourselves broken. We're not. It's just that the culture has a different expectation and it's difficult for us to fit in, which is one of the reasons I think why we're attracted to geekdom is because in geekdom, we are, geeks are already weird and outliers and strange. And so they're used to weird and outliers and strange. And there are a lot of things in geekdom that attract us. I love being able to be obnoxiously whatever with Star Trek. It's one of my favorite things. The fact that I can rifle through episodes of Star Trek and pull data and information out of episodes is so comforting to me. Just being able to do that. And I know that sounds so strange, but it is definitely a thing. Right? It's like the thing, man. It's the thing. All right. We've done 2 chain links there. I'm actually just going to do the last link as a big piece. I'm just having fun for reasons, and it's just because this is kind of simple, and I really kind of want. Can I set my Star Trek as a thing? Major radius.
All right, I'm in.
You're back. You have the secret to the air shield.
Air shield.
It make me cry, Colton. It make me cry.
Sorry.
You know what the code to the air shield is? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Brent, thank you. Thank you, Brent. Sounds like something an idiot would have on his luggage.
Yeah.
Remind me to change the code on my luggage. Three-pronged joke. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh man, that's from Spaceballs. That's what that's all about, if you're wondering. Which you probably are. That's okay. Spaceballs is the bestest movie. So bestest.
Is it?
All right, let's go over to UVs and check our UVs on this thing. I'll bet you we'll find things are ugly on the UV front.
Well, that helps out a little bit better.
No UVs at all. Nice. That's a thing.
That fits. I kept getting like a slight glare on my tablet. I was like, I'm really not liking this anymore.
I may have made a mistake.
What kind?
Not a big one. It's not a big mistake.
That's good.
But if I want this signal box to sit to the right of a light pole, then I need to not have a loop on top of it. Which means that the loops and the hooks need to be on the light pole, not on the signal box, which isn't a big deal. But it is a, before I map this, moment.
Right.
All right. Looks like it kept and retained that, which means that all I need to do is add you guys. And we'll be out. There we go. Just being major asshole. Major asshole. Yes, sir, we're all assholes. I know that, but what's his name? That is his name, sir. Private First Class Philip Asshole. How many assholes do we have on this ship? Oh! God. It's the best movie, man. I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. That movie's the best. Well. we may have to fix that. It looks like I caught a little bit of the outside fairing on that. We'll see whether that's a thing. And then there's QuACk. We ain't found shit. I like Tim Russ talking about that whole thing. And Tim Russ is like, I run into two people in the world. Either they know me as QuACk, or they know me as the guy that said we ain't found shit. And I love the way he says it because he does the dictation in QuACk mode. Mm-hmm. So he'll say, you know, or they find me as the person who said we ain't found shit. It's just so funny when it's like said so cleanly like that. It's really funny. It cracks me up a lot. All right, guys. Let's see if we did this right.
There we go.
I still feel like you're having problems with your communication. I don't know if the rest of the people are having a problem with it or not. I don't know if you guys are hearing this. Are you guys hearing him being choppy, or is it just me? If it's just me, it's not a problem. We'll see whether they say anything. And make sure we selected everything. Keep vertex order polygroups. Like I said, it forgets everything. All right. Export objects. Z forward up. So we go into DAS.
Oh, I am sending.
No, me too. So there may be something wrong with your doodly wop.
It might be where everything's set up.
Yeah. Import signal light. Wait, is that going to be signal light? Or is that going to be signal light? Okay, that looks like that's the right signal light. Okay. Then we go over to figure setup.
Oh, is that better?
That sounds a little bit better. Okay.
I'm still trying to find a good setup for everything. So.
Yeah.
That's not erase. That is.
Add geometry. Bring the light. Import. You do all the things. Yep, look at that. And it works. Signal. Red light should be there. Yellow light should be there. And green light should be there. Create. Go to surfaces first thing. Drop the angle down to 50. Why is that not default? We don't know. Uh-oh. Is that going to be an issue? Yeah, it might be an issue. Let's go back real quick and then fix that problem because I don't want to mess with that. There we go. Okay, so what's happening there is you saw chatter on that. That chatter that's coming through means that there are triangles that are trying to go from here to here to here and crossing through all of that. So what I'm going to do to fix it, I'm going to add a modifier, and we're just going to triangulate the heck out of it, and that'll be fine. That won't change my UV map. It won't change anything else. This changes the way it's set up. So I'll export as a wavefront object, go back in, signal light again, make sure I'm set up and configured properly for the export. Done. That should fix that problem. Then we'll clear this, remove geometry. Yes. And then remove you and your children. There we go. And then we add geometry. Signal light, bring it in. We want to clear it. We add that to there. Now we have this in a different way. We'll do signal box. We'll go back ahead and make sure that the IK chains are correct, because you don't want to screw up IK chains. That makes life miserable for people like me. Signal light box, drop the angle down to 50, and it's much clearer. It looks a whole lot nicer. And if we go into wider frame, you can see everything looks just fine. Okay. Next thing we need to do is do the thing where we do the node weight map brush thing, because I'm still not sure what this is, but we need to do it. So we'll then distribute selected. Oh, I must be on the signal light box for that. Sorry. Okay. You must select bones on the weighted map figure that I already have the current map, the editing bone. What? What?
What about bones?
What?
You said something
I had
about
an error
bones?
before on this one.
What is it, a rigging error? Are you rigging?
No, I need to set the weight of the bones, otherwise they won't move.
Hmm.
So that's a thing in DAZ. I need to set the bone weight to it. That's the first thing I've got to do here, and I don't really know what I'm doing or why, but I'll see whether the joints are correct or not. I don't know. Let's see.
Right.
I mean, because really, like, this joint seems fine. Except that it's the green. No, it's not. That's the red light one. Yeah, that's fine. Yellow light. Yeah. It knows where things are going. Green light. Cool. Signal box. Weird, but, hey, whatever. I actually think I should set the signal box to a vertical stance instead of a horizontal stance. That's okay too. Yeah, that works. Now the question is, does it move or did it get borked? Yeah, see, that's the problem. Therein lies the rub, guys. Right? Because what I just said, you have to sit this in the distributed, the weighted thingy, woodjigger. I don't even know. You must select bones on a weight mapped figure that have the current map, that all have the current map of the editing bone. Weight and go to weight and then fill by bone selection group. Oh, that's it. I know what I'm doing wrong. Brush, Wait, editing. Fill by bone selection group. That's what it's supposed to be. There you go. Now we screwed it up. I did the wrong command. That's what the problem was. Let's try this again, guys. From the beginning. Create.
From the beginning. From the top.
Weight editing. Fill by bone selection group. There we go. Because you have to do it before you do all of these things. Then we go to tools and we say joint editor. And now we do that. And that works. And then we can do this. Because all the other joints actually are correct. I don't need to worry about that. Align node. Align node. Align node. Now it moves properly. All right, so now what we need is parameter settings. We'll call this red on. Unhide it. Use limits. Its minimum should be 0, and its maximum should be what? 4, except temporarily. Yeah, because we got to figure out what needs to be more than 4. And I'll pull it back. Because it only needs to go to, well, yeah, that's pretty close to exactly what it needs to be.
Nice.
16. Or so. There. So 0, 16. 0, 16. Perfect. We'll do the same thing. Parameter settings. On. Use limits. Unhide it. It's minimum 0. Its maximum will also be 16. All right. We'll go to green light. And we'll go into its parameter settings. Same thing. Set this for 0. And 16. And now the green light can turn on. The reason behind this is we get back out of here into texture shaded. The lights are now on, and you can turn the lights off. Same way we did. Oh, private dating chat girls.
Hell yeah. Where?
Really? Sweet.
Welcome back.
Block user on YouTube.
Sup, YouTube?
Block list on stream. Dump. Oops. Something went wrong.
You click the link. I
just killed it.
Good job.
We've got, the cool part is we've got tools here now that on board Restream that allow us to go there. So we can do that.
Nice.
I'm going to finish this light before I break for lunch. So if you guys need to break for lunch, please feel free to do so. I, on the other hand, am going to fix the signal light real quick while I can. Because I want to fix the signal light. Because it's, we're already there and 90% done, so might as well fix the damn light. Aha, we screwed up the signal light because the default for Blender is to, go figure, not export your actual UVs by default.
Nice.
So exporting
UVs.
the UV layout, you have to click, yes, I wish to export all UVs. Now,
Nice.
anybody can tell me why that's the case? I don't know, but the default for your UV export is to not, in fact, export your UVs. You don't know what that's about.
That's not important.
Who needs that, right?
Who uses UVs?
Right? Come on. Just funny. I'm like, okay, that's such a... I mean, why would that be your default mode?
Right.
I've clicked on UV export, but I never need to actually export the UVs. I just want to go through the motions. Okay. Whatever.
If you insist.
So weird. All right. First things we're gonna do is go up a level like this. Then we're gonna say romp. So then we're going to outline selection. We're going to draw on the border. We're going to do 10 on either side. That should give us that, which looks about right. Weird. So I'll take the eraser tool real quick. And I'll go in here and I'll just pull out around the edges of this guy because we don't really need the lights to be that color. And then we'll do that right here.
Yeah, and that's cool. You know Jerry though. I met him through my buddy's Discord group.
I totally missed that because you are still choppy.
And choppy still?
I know we just told you weren't choppy, but then we lied.
Weird. Now I'm having that problem. That's weird.
This is weird.
Am I still choppy?
Yeah, you're still choppy. I mean, but we still love you if that helps any.
I am definitely noticed I have some very bad lag. Weird. But what I was saying, if it does work now.
Sort of works.
Uh,
There we go. Now we take you, go to surfaces. Why are we still on the bone tool? We don't need to go to the bone tool. Browse. You. And take your specular color and zero it out. And velocity, and then And we say you, signal light, and then take you and go to this, and then do that. And then we turn the lights off to see if it works. Red light off, yellow light off, and green light off. And that works just fine.
Perfect.
That actually works pretty well. And now I can take you and raise you up to here. You're also massively huge, which means we'll have to shrink you down so you're not quite as big. This is a big light, man. Don't get in the way. Starts to kill you. But I can turn the light on. Red light off. Oh, look, we got a flashing red light. Does that mean Colton? You have a flashing red light.
Oh,
And what is flashing yellow?
treat it like a stop
mean?
sign.
Yep. Treat it like a stop sign. You got it. And flashing yellow means treat it like a yield.
Mm-hmm.
Flashing green means you're screwed up, the light's messed up, and you've got a problem.
It means go faster.
Go faster. You're not going fast enough.
You need to catch up to the rest of the race.
Right?
You're falling behind,
Dude,
Steve.
you're going too slow. All right. This is what I wanted to create the first
Don't
time
make me
because
get
this would be so much
Speed
easier
Racer
to
dead
do.
out here.
Right? Okay, let's go on ahead and bring in the smart content render settings content library. That's what we want. Bring in my car. Look at the size of this.
What I was trying to say when I was breaking up was how I met Jerry. So
Oh, yeah. How'd you meet Jerry?
it was through our friend. It's my we have a mutual friends Discord group.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Who's my roommate now, so we kind of became friends since then.
He was your roommate?
Acquaintances, friends. Huh?
Oh. He wasn't your roommate. He was a roommate's friend.
Yeah, he's a roommate's friend.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they ever met before. I don't know who else.
Jerry and I?
I
Jerry
know.
and I have met at a Denny.
Here, well, yeah, at a Denny's.
Oh, yeah.
I
No.
figured you and Jerry met.
Yeah, we met at a Denny's. It was very funny.
I had to turn it on its side.
Front view. Let's rotate you 90 degrees this way. There we go. Minus 90. And we lock you in place. Now to turn it on its side. Right now we'll do it as it is in Colorado generally. Colorado generally puts the lights vertical, not horizontal. But that doesn't, it's not given. It's just, we generally do that.
General.
General. General signal
A lot of
light.
generals in this conversation.
Yeah. So there's that. Okay. We've got ourselves a light. The reason I wanted to do this was because now I can do in here, create a subfolder and call it ZZZ light. Light controls. Right? And then in here, I can take this guy now in the signal box and say save as, and then we take this and we go pose preset, and we go into light control and we say no lights on, right? And then make sure we select the signal box and we make sure we tick off the general things, because that's the only thing we want to make sure we've got. Because we don't want to, if you do that the other way, you end up with, and then you do this where you go the red lights on, and then we say save as, pose preset,
Oh, you're
and we say red Red light on.
That's better. I got a feeling it's
Anything. Turn off that. Turn off that. If you don't unclick general, then what ends up happening is it also records the position information. We'll do turn lane arrows as a graphic on top of it when we want. We can do this later. Actually, if I'd been smart, I would have taken the lens object that's inside there and done it so that if you rotate it 180 degrees, it's an arrow. But I need the arrows to go different directions, so right now it's probably better to do it just this way. And we say save as pose preset. Bang, bang, bang. Yellow light on. Same thing. Make sure you turn off the general. And we'll turn the yellow light off and put the green light on. We'll do the same thing. Save as pose preset. Bang, bang, bang. Green. And we'll undo that and undo that. And you'll sit there and say, okay, well, what's the point of this? And the real reason this is a thing is because now I can just have it be yellow or red or green by double clicking. So the animation will be perfect and clean and I don't have to worry about it. And then I can turn them off. And now we have control over that light by just a double click. So when we get to the animation section of this and we're animating it, all I have to do is double click and it immediately changes the light. Instead of me having to slide one and then go to the next one and slide it forward and then slide it back and then slide it forward. So that makes this animation instant, which is good when you have 4 of these things in an intersection and you have to get all 4 of them, you've got either four lights in the intersection, or as the case we had that last time when we were doing point of no return, we had 2 lights on each pole, which made 8 lights in the intersection, and all of them had to be slid backwards and forwards and slid this one backward, and it became such a mess. So now all I do is just select this light, tell it to be green, select this light, tell it to be green, select this light, tell it to be green, then go over here. This one needs to be red, this one needs to be red, this one needs to be red. And we're pegged in. So it'll only take a second to do the animation, which will be important. It's much more important when we deal with that car, because the car needs to have its blinking lights, turn signals, which means that we're going to have forward, half a second, and then turn the light on, then forward half a second, turn the light off, then forward half a second, turn the light off. It's going to be aggravating. There are ways to automate all of this. I just don't know how to do it. That's fine. It's not worth the time or effort or stress. So we'll do that later. Hey, Colton, did you see the new Beast Wars trailer?
Transformers?
Yesterday was like trailer day.
I didn't.
Indiana dropped.
That one was one I just saw that I was like, ooh.
Transformers dropped. Yeah.
What else dropped?
New Transformers, Indiana Jones. What else dropped? Something else dropped too. That was really cool.
I think I saw them all drop at once while I was at work and I was driving. And
yeah,
they
were all at once.
Days later, and I just never got around to them.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 dropped.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah. So, anyway, they all dropped. All these really cool trailers. So
nice. I'm gonna have to watch them.
Yeah, go watch them
and see what's coming out. I'm curious. I remember I watched that one. I watched the new Final Fantasy 16 games coming out. They did their new preview.
Yeah. Super Mario Brothers has a trailer that came out like last week or something.
Still don't know how I feel about that.
Kiddo likes it. That's all that's important to me, really.
I think that's all I'm never gonna
really
hit with that same thing. I'm just thinking like,
but Kiddo likes it.
Nothing will add up to how it used to be. old Super
Right.
Mario Bros. Movie, like the 80s.
I'm wondering.
With what's his name?
Wondering if Lightyear is out on Disney Plus yet.
Should be. I watched it on Disney Plus.
Because I have not seen Lightyear.
It's
and I don't think
good.
he wants to see Lightyear with me. And so I'm like, maybe I'll watch Lightyear today while I do work later on this afternoon.
Disney
You
Plus.
know what I mean?
It should be on there because I watched it on there.
Oh my God, there's a Moana sing along. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to sing along. I don't care. I have no shame.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, they have the
I've got
holiday,
zero-
the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which I haven't watched yet.
I can't watch that one because actually my wife wants to see it. So
Nice. Oh, they re-released
There's
Willow.
nothing. Oh, there's a new Willow coming out. That's the other trailer that dropped.
Oh, that explains why they brought back the first one. Okay. So there's
Why
gonna be a
they're
new
into
one.
it. Into it. And Hocus Pocus 2, which I'm really not that interested in because it's not my thing.
It
And there's
was
nothing
alright.
wrong with it. I just it's the thing.
I watched it.
I've got
It was,
other things
eh.
in my life. Oh, Lady and the Tramp. I gotta watch
I haven't
that.
seen that
I
in
don't think I've
years.
seen Lady and the Tramp in like the 80s.
Right. Avatar.
Avatar. Lilo and Stitch, which I will always watch because Stitch. I mean, legit. I think Stitch is my spirit animal.
I love Stitch.
In all
Stitch is one
ways.
of my favorites.
I mean, Stitch. I mean, like if you were to say, Guy, what's your spirit animal? I'd have to say it's Stitch because chaos and likes fast cars and is blue and like and incoherent sometimes and it's like
Right.
I'm definitely Stitch. When I was in Japan, my kids loved it when I would do the Stitch impersonation.
Ohana means family.
Ohana means family, and family means no one is left behind or forgotten. They were like, God, it's Stitch! They're like, do it in Japanese. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that in Japanese. Goofy kids. Oh, well. They were my
That's
kids,
funny.
man. Never trade them for the world. They were my kids.
Especially because I don't think there's a word in Japanese for Ohana. And also the structure doesn't work too, if I remember right. The word structure.
Yeah, you'd end up saying kazoku wa kazoku ni yotteimasu. So you just end up saying family means family. And family means family means family. And family.
Yeah, that's what I was like. It doesn't
Family.
really. I was like, the way that the word structure goes with how Japanese structure, it doesn't really work.
Although they would probably just say ohana wa kazoku ni yondeimasu. So, or imi wa imi ohana no imi wa kazoku desu. That's what they would say. So they would just say ohana means family, like
Mhm.
straight up, right?
Literally just break it down the same way
Yeah.
we would.
Kazoku no imi wa wasurunai de.
All right.
That'd be the way it would go. Yeah, so that'd be the way I would say it. Minna wa. Minna wa.
I gotta take off for a bit. So
Well, we've all got to take off for a bit. I'm done with my street light, man. Now I'm trying to translate freaking Lilo and Stitch. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to go away.
I got stuff I gotta get done today.
Hey,
For tomorrow.
trouble. We're in trouble. Okay. Cool. Thank you for joining me, Colton.
Thank you. It was
You
nice
did a
seeing
good
everybody
job.
and seeing all these new faces you've had in chat today.
Yeah,
It was a pretty busy morning.
it was because Ken had unhooked Picardo, his Picardo account. So there was an open slot. So I reconnected my personal Facebook. So I think people didn't know that I was broadcasting out on GS Davis Art.
So it pulled all them over. Okay.
Because these are all they're my buddies.
Yeah.
They're buddies of mine from different walks of life. Like I just said, it's kind of interesting how they all connect to each other in some way or another. It's so cool.
Well, I mean, Facebook doesn't always tell me every day too that you're live.
Yeah.
It does it on a random time. Like there's days I'll be getting stuff done. I'm like, all right, what else can I do today? And I'm like, why do I have this notification? I look, I'm like, guy streaming. I was like, oh wow, it is 9.
Right. I mean, I try to stream most days too. So
oh yeah, you stream almost every day, but that's pretty much where I was just like, it doesn't always do it, and sometimes it flip flops on me. It goes on my personal page and on my art page. It'll be like, Guy Davis is streaming for like a week straight on my art page, and then it'll do it for like a week on my regular. I'm like, okay.
You are, by the way, clear as a bell right now. So I'm wondering whether your choppiness came from overloading a processor. Because you are just as clear as all get out.
I hope not.
I hope not too. Because I'm hoping that when you're running your drawing program, it doesn't mean that you've used up so many cycles that you can't talk anymore. That'd be kind of obnoxious.
Maybe it's also just the connection I have right now. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe the roommate was doing something high powered and it like
entirely possible.
We only can get like I think 600 megs or something like that in this area. So
really,
it's like 600 or 800. We can't get up to a terabyte.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I don't know. We're trying to get. My roommate was trying to get Comcast out here to check the lines. He's like, I just think they're old. I'm like, yeah. If you can get them out here and check them, replace them, sure. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you gotta poke them.
Yeah, they'll do it. It just takes some effort.
Right.
So cool. No, awesome. Well, then I will see you later. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, anytime.
It may be a software conflict. We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, OBS asked me to update, and I said no, so it might be an OBS update.
Might be an OBS problem. OBS is like, if you're not going to update, we're not working for you.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'll see you later, my friend, and everybody else will see you tonight. No, because tonight's Friday. I won't see anybody again until Sunday night. And so
correct.
If you guys are hanging, you're hanging with me later. But Ken might be on during the weekend. Sometimes he's on during the weekend.
He jumps on once or twice. That's why I always see him every once in a while. Like I'm sitting here working. I'm like, why is Guy on? It's Saturday. And then I look, I'm like, oh, it's Ken. Cool.
Right. It's because we're not switching up the switches up there. So it just broadcasts to all of Ken's channels and all of my channels. And it just doesn't care.
I love it.
Sometimes I broadcast and it isn't me. Sometimes he broadcasts and it isn't him. So there's that. Like right now, I'm broadcasting on his channels too. Okay. Yeah. See you all later. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.